everybody, it's Josh Schoenly, and welcome to episode 2 of Client Alchemist Unplugged. I've got our special guest, Mike Kemper, and we've got some cool stuff to share with you. We're going to do some follow-up to what we covered and talked about in episode 1. So if you haven't watched episode 1 yet, I would go and do that right now. You can probably find a link to it below or to the side of this video. There's even some bonus content as well, and there's a way for you to make sure that you never miss an episode. So check all of those things out. But in today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what happened this weekend with Mike on the listing appointment that we mentioned in episode 1 that he had scheduled coming up. Then we're going to talk about and even show you some of the email scripts, and more importantly, the principles that Mike is using to get a dramatically higher response and engagement from these are old unconverted leads that he's never been able to even get a response from in the past. And then we're going to look at another piece of homework that we gave Mike, which is implementing an action plan from our Client Alchemist Pro member area for the listing that he just recently picked up. So we got a lot to cover. We're going to try and stay on task, keep it concise, and really just pull out the nuggets for all of you. So the first thing we're going to look at is a couple of email scripts that Mike has created following some principles that are designed to get people to respond, because any response is better than no response, good or bad, yes or no. We're just looking to get into a conversation so that we can, eventually either turn them into a client and maybe a referral source in the future, or not, because we don't want to waste our time and energy if they're never going to be a client. But before we get to that, let's talk about what happened over the weekend. It was a listing appointment that turned into a listing, that turned into not a listing, but future business.
Right. Well, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in to episode number 2. So real quick, in a nutshell, I did a bunch of work and went into this listing appointment on Saturday, and it was a phenomenal listing appointment. I went through. I got him to sign all of the paperwork. We listed the house right then and there. We went through the whole house. I said exactly what he needs to do as far as staging to get everything ready for the professional pictures. We scheduled the pictures to be done this Wednesday. I mean, it was 100% completely done deal, and it was phenomenal. So I went on with the rest of my day, and then Sunday I went to church. After I got out of church on Sunday, I received an email from him, and he said, "Hey man, I just want to let you know we want to cancel the listing, and the reason is because after we went over all of the numbers, my wife." So a little background history, not to go into too much detail, but his wife was forcing the sale. So this is a divorce sale, so it's not a fun situation. It's not a fun listing. It's not like they want to go out and be a move-up buyer or anything like that. His wife is forcing the sale. So after we went over all of the numbers, or he said after they went over all of the numbers, his wife decided that she wasn't going to get enough money out of the house, so she was just going to let him stay in the house with their kids so that he and their kids could stay in the same school district, and she would move on with her life elsewhere. So it's actually a really, really good thing, because my job isn't just to earn a commission check. My job is to help people, and when I help enough people, the money will come. So I was super, super happy that I was able to help him get to a place where he had enough information to go to his soon-to-be ex-wife and say, "Hey, can I just buy you out of this house versus us selling it, and you could move on with your life?" Fortunately, she said yes. We hit it off. He is one of the predominant members out at the Luke Air Force Base, which is close to my house. He has, unfortunately, 5 other coworkers or people that work for him that are going through a divorce in his career field right now that he's going to start referring me to. And then when he is ready to sell his house, whenever he gets a permanent change of station from Luke to somewhere else in the world, he'll let me sell his house. So I could potentially get 5 more listings just from this one listing appointment that I got that ended up canceling. So I know that was kind of long-winded. Sorry about that.
But here's some key points here, because you highlight some things that are very important to what we believe at Client Alchemist, which is when you treat people as people and not numbers, and you provide value to them, and you lead with value, and you don't look at them as just another transaction, good things will happen, right? You could have looked at it and been frustrated. You could have reacted, got all angry with him about doing that. And then you would have lost that business then and any potential for future business. But instead, you are building a bank of goodwill with him that will turn into business sooner than later. And it's unfortunate that the business is potentially coming from divorce situation, but it's reality, and you're helping them. That's what we're here to do.
Yep, and then to take it a step further, I said, "Hey man, do you know how to do all of the paperwork to legally buy out your wife to make sure that she doesn't try to come back to you at a later date for the proceeds of the house?" And he's like, "No, I really have no clue. He's going to Google it." And I was like, "No, no, let me put you in contact with my escrow officer. My escrow officer will tell you how to do everything. They'll notarize it. I mean, everything will be legit. It can be filed with Maricopa County, and you'll be good to go." And he's like, "Dude, that would be sweet. That would be awesome." So it's all about helping
awesome.
people. You help enough people get what they want, and you'll ultimately get what you want. That's what
Totally.
Zig Ziglar said, and I believe it.
Yeah, totally agree. So great stuff there. We'll keep everybody posted on these unplugged episodes as more comes from that, right? Well, that'll be sort of an ongoing storyline here. But now what we're going to do is jump into and share with you a couple of the email scripts that Mike has been using with some older leads, and they're specifically designed to get people to actually converse with him. Like we said, good or bad. There's no, good or bad is fine. And I think some of the numbers so far, Mike, you were getting something like 30% open rate, which means just people opening the email, which on its own is a huge win when average open rates keep going down and down just in email marketing in general. I mean, I think the average open rate's like 4 or 5% now. So that's exponentially greater than the quote unquote average. So let's take a look at a couple of these. And you had some, when we were sort of prepping for this, you had some interesting points to bring out that I think will help everybody watching and trying to learn from this.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, just to give a basic background history, I'm only emailing essentially what I would consider crap leads. So these are the leads that I was able to take with me after I broke up our real estate team. So these are leads that I've never been able to convert. Like literally never been able to convert. So I'm just sending them emails to see if they're still interested, so I can either add them or keep them active in my CRM or delete them. So there's very, very specific ways to structure an email subject line and then also the body. So first and foremost, structuring is going to be kind of based on you, the user, the person that's emailing. It needs to be something that resonates with you. Don't just copy mine for the sake of copying mine, because it probably won't work for you.
Yeah.
So I'm a more outgoing person. I use emojis, I use thumbs up, I use smiley faces and stuff like that, but that's who I am. And I only write emails that I would actually open on my cell phone. Notice I said cell phone, because the vast majority, it's like Pareto's Law, it's like 80-20. So like 80% of all the people that you're emailing are on their phone. You literally have about 3 seconds for them to open your email. And if you send multiple lines, over 5 to 7 lines, forget about it. They're not going to respond to you, because they're going to say, probably the same as what you do, "I'll come back to this email later." What happens later? You delete it. You're like, "That's too long. I'm not doing it." So with that being said, write the way that you want to be written to. That'll help you exponentially. So here's 2 emails that I've been writing since our episode 1. I'm averaging a 31.9% open rate, which, like Josh said, is huge, and to what I would consider crap leads. So let's go to it. So subject line, super simple: checking in from Mike. So hopefully it'll pique their interest, like, who is Mike? It could be checking in from Josh or Susie or Mary or Marty, whatever. So checking in from Mike. So then this lady's name was Laura. So on line 1, what you always want to do, there's a specific way on how I craft emails. Line 1 is always going to have their first name first. So Laura, hello and happy Tuesday night to you. So I ended up sending this one, and it was like 50 emails that I sent out that Tuesday night. So line 1, just to make sure that you're not like, well, you want to come across as not a bot, not an autoresponder. You want to come across as a real person. Identify whatever date it is. So, or day. So this was like a Tuesday night. So sometimes it would be Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, or if it's raining, happy rainy Wednesday to you. Then after that, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while and I wanted a quick check in. Notice I made a second line, how is everything going? Because I know she's probably going to be reading it on her phone. It's a lot easier to read about 5 lines on your phone if they're not combined together as like full sentences. I know it's not grammatically correct, but it's the right way to
It's
do
how
it to get
people actually
responses.
communicate, regardless of grammatically accurate. I mean, it's
Right, yeah, this is what people do, right? I mean, you got limited time, and you're scrolling through it on your phone, and it's easy to read one line at a time on your phone. If you get a whole bunch of words jumbled together, they're like, this is too long, delete.
yeah.
So, how is everything going? Is there anything that I can help you with by chance? And here's the key. You always include their name right before your name. So what people do is they'll look at it and it doesn't mean anything to them until they scroll to the bottom. And if they don't see anything at the bottom, then it just gets deleted. But when they scroll to the bottom and they see their name again, they automatically come to the top because they're like, oh, hey, wait a minute, my name was on the bottom, and my name was on the top, so there must be something important in between. It's the psychology. It's the psychology of email writing and crafting. And I know it sounds really super duper basic, but believe me, I guarantee it works. Literally, I have 7 buyers now from 126 emails that I sent out since episode 1, and 3 of them are dual transactions. So it means that they want to sell their house and to buy another house. So it's going to be 10 transactions from crap leads just from doing these emails.
And it's
Now,
120 emails, but it's not 120 people.
correct, because
I'm just
I did
pointing
send
out
out.
that it's a very high percentage of people to actual client potential.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it isn't 126 people because I sent out a second email to those people that didn't respond that I'm going to get to next. But yeah, you're exactly right. It's less than 100 people. So out of those less than 100 people that this went to, 7 of them have already said yes, I'm in the market. I have a couple of them getting pre-qualified with my loan officer. One just got entered into credit counseling, and they're going to be ready to buy within the next year. So they're going to be aces. I mean, this stuff is actually working. So, but as you always say, it only works if you work it, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, I'm babbling. So let me get back. So you need to include their name on this line right before, because once they scroll down, they see their name, they come back up, they'll read the 3 lines in between. So then I do Mike, and then my signature file for everyone else is going to be different. For me, it's like, It's a Good Life, Mike Kemper, and then, Realtor and my designations, my broker, and all the stuff that's required in Arizona.
Right.
So she ended up having to respond. We've had like 7 emails back and forth. Right now, she's telling me about her mom and the situation. Her mom's in dialysis, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But this was a crap lead that now I'm having conversation with. So it's good. So after I send this one, my goal to always send it the next day. Sometimes I don't. Like this one says, this would be my second email in my campaign.
So this is what you would send if they don't respond to the first email. Just so everybody's clear, if they don't respond to the first email, which you try to send the next day, I think if you send it the next day or the day after that, it's probably all good either way.
Correct. Yep. But this is the next email in the series. So either within 2 to 3 days,
Yeah.
you need to get this one sent out. So subject line, very simple. Did you get my email? Pretty simple and straightforward, and it piques their interest. Or
Yes.
when you get that into your inbox, and you're like, "Did you get my email? Who the heck are you?" You naturally open it up, right? So once again, same structure. This one was to David. David, hello and happy Friday to you. It was Friday, hooray, yay, And then I said, hey, I was just checking in, Wednesday, and wanted to see if you received my email. Please let me know if you received it with a smiley face. So it was trying to make him kind of like smile and to say, hey, you should really respond back to Mike if you received it. And then I'm huge on takeaways in sales. So if you give somebody like a point of resistance right away, then they don't have anything to fall back on. So that was my goal here. So please let me know if you're still interested in buying a home. If not, please let me know as well, and I'll remove you from my contact list.
Totally.
So hey, let me know if you're still interested, and I'll help you. And if not, it's totally cool. I'll remove you from my contact list and essentially have a good rest of your life. So it's kind of doing the takeaway, and then also giving a call to action. So I have a call to action right here. Please let me know if you received it, and then let me know if you're interested in possibly buying or selling. If not, please let me know as well, and I'll remove you from my contact list. Meaning, hey, you aren't going to get any emails. Either way, I'm asking him for a response, yes or no. And then once again, same thing, David, I look forward to hearing back from you. So in this instance, he sent me an email back, and he said, yes, Mike, I did receive your email. No, I'm not interested in selling right now, but I will be in the future. And if you stay in contact with me, I'll list with you. So that's a pretty darn good email. So I said, okay, how often should I stay in contact with you? Are you interested in every month or bi-monthly or what? Because I was trying to go for the shorter time frame. He responded back to me and said, Mike, if you keep in contact with me every 6 months, that would be great. That's a pretty darn good email response. Now I know from sales that if he says 6 months, I'm going to cut it down to 3 months, and I'll contact him every 3 months, if not sooner. Or like Josh and I were talking before we started this webinar, that I'm probably going to start sprinkling items of value on him periodically in between. Not asking for business, but just giving him value in my emails.
So a couple of things I want to point out, and then I think we're actually going to save the last part in the interest of time. I think we're going to save it to the next episode because it's a post and an action plan that people can find, pro members can find in the membership area, but it's not something that has been completely executed yet. So what we'll do is next time we'll look at that and we'll talk through and look at some of the results. But I have a couple of points here in wrapping up that I want to point out that I think will help you all with this. The first one is Mike is treating every one of these people as a person. Okay. Now that seems obvious, but there are a lot of sales trainers, coaches, gurus, etc., brokers who either directly or indirectly are teaching you to treat everyone as a number, right? And one of the reasons he's getting massive response and he's building a bank of future business is because he's treating them all as an individual, as a person, because that's what they are, okay? Second thing, related to being authentic and having emails sound like you and your voice. You want to write the emails the way you speak, and I would read it out loud to yourself before you hit send. And if it doesn't sound like you, adapt it to sound like you, because you want it to be congruent and authentic to who you are as a person and the way that you communicate, etc. Because the worst thing you want is for you to come off and sound one way, and then once you get into a conversation, the person's like, this doesn't even seem like the same person that I responded to, right? That is the absolute worst thing. I mean, I think, I don't know this firsthand, but I've heard this from single friends that this happens all the time in the dating, right? They think they're agreeing to a date with a certain person, and they get to the date and it's like, this isn't the person that I agreed to date, and that's what you're doing here. You're courting them, right? The last thing I'll say is related to points of this is he is not focused on conversion. He's focused on getting into conversation. And you will not, at least intentionally, hear us talk about conversion at Client Alchemist because I don't like that word. We talk about conversations because conversations naturally lead to them being a client. But if you focus on converting someone, they're going to feel like a number, like a piece of meat, right? We don't want that. You want to be authentic and come from a place of value, and you want to just have conversations that naturally lead to them coming to the conclusion that, hey, Mike's a pretty good guy. I think I want to do business with him. Even though I might not be ready to do business right now, they come to that conclusion. And then when they are ready to do business on their time, they have already made a decision in their mind, Mike's the guy I'm going to use. Okay. So here's what you can do if you want to learn more about and get a couple of example scripts that you can use for converting sort of old, dead, as Mike called them, crap leads. You can use whatever adjective you like. Below this video or somewhere with this video, we'll also include a link to get a couple of example scripts and a video training that I put together sharing with you the principles behind this so you can apply them with your own email marketing, right? Because scripts are helpful and they're a starting point, but ultimately, and Mike said this, and I agree wholeheartedly, you need to take it and make it your own and have it sound like you and your voice and the way you do things. And so, that will help you with that, and you can find those below. So what we'll do in episode 3 is we're going to share the results from a couple of action plans that Mike has implemented from the Client Alchemist Pro membership. We'll get an update on these email interactions and so forth and see how that's going. And I'm sure we're going to have a couple other things come up in the meantime, which, you'll just have to stay tuned for that. So if you haven't already done so, again, check out the resources below or somewhere associated with this video. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us for Unplugged episode 2. We'll be back next week with episode 3, and you can look forward to that, and we'll talk real soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.